is a beautiful double kill. 2-0 for West Ham, progressing through to the next round.
Auto block, camping that tank very well, not taking too much damage. Lemon Lime just took a bolt off prayer.
Look at this, he's completely taking control of it. The third. There's another redemption from I'm So Happy. He still has 3 doses of restore as well. He can still keep this in. Goes for the claw, 25 damage coming in. Both players use a redemption, and I'm So Happy's gonna take it at the end.
Very good here for Mario. This is a... Wow, look at this. In 3 hits. 40, 30, 30.
Good day, everybody, and welcome back to day 2 of the Method Mayhem OSRS US West PvP circuit. So today, we are giving away $1,500 worth of prize pool to the top 3 contestants. That's $1,000 for first place, $350 for second, and $150 for third. Yesterday, we saw some big names in the tournament. We had Kemp Q, 1013, Abyss, Grey, and many more that we'll probably cover very shortly. This is a double elimination tournament, which means that, of course, you've got to win 2 fights in order to be actually kicked out altogether. There's a winner's bracket and a loser's bracket. Today we're going to be starting off with the loser's bracket and then moving up to the finals and giving away all that money as well. All fights are best of 3, and of course the finals are best of 7 to allow, you know, the contestants a bit more of a chance and for RNG to be less impactful. The winner's bracket last place, or winner's bracket winner, sorry, will be at a 1-0 start versus the losers bracket winner, just to give them that advantage since they haven't lost a fight yet. It's deserved, so it's gonna be the first to 4 when we do get to that final. But I'm joined today by the boy West Ham. How you doing, buddy? You excited to cast again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing great. Don't tell me my camera froze like that. That's peak. Anyway, I'm doing lovely, thank you. I'm excited to cast like this. Come on, man. That is not fair.
Some OPOPs in the chat, please. Right, well, like I said before,
I'm excited to cast today. We've got a couple decent people in the losers bracket as well. We have Kemp Q that's going to be going against Sanctified, I believe, today. Oh, wait, no, not Sanctified, sorry. He will be going against Scape. And we also have Sanctified going against Con the Don today. So that's going to be an interesting fight to watch.
Yeah, we've got 1013 still in the tournament as well, of course. We have Minza, who put up a really sick fight yesterday, and Max Cape as well. Gosu, King Sam, one of your guys that you recognize as well. Some really big names, lots of solid tag members, lots of frontline members. Of course, the guys that are in today still are playing for the $1,500 prize pool. But as well as that, it's the bragging rights. You know, it's the, you know, going for your clan and kind of saying to show, you know, we're the best. We've won this. You're wearing it like a trophy, almost like a medal of honor. So there's a lot of rivalry going on today, and it's going to make for some really exciting times. We'll be jumping in to the first fight very shortly, which is going to be the winner's bracket, actually, we're going to start with, which is going to be Con the Don versus Sanctified. Sanctified being a Blazers member and not actually losing a match yet, is he? You know, he's lost 1 fight out of all the fights that he's done, but we're starting off with the round 3, and we'll be going through that first. What's your predictions for this first fight we got going then? Con the Don versus Sanctified. Do you know Con the Don? I think we just saw him at fighting against Kemp Q, didn't we?
I don't know too much about Con the Don. I do know that he streams. He is a bit of a smaller side on streamer, but he has been getting some viewership here and there. As for Sanctified, I do know Sanctified very well, so it kind of depends on how well Con is going to perform to my expectations of Sanctified. I think if he can match Sanctified, then it will be a good fight. But I'm not expecting him to. I don't think he's a very serious player. I think he's more of a casual player. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't care too much about the competitive NHing scene. But he could prove me wrong. This is just what I'm guessing. I don't know too much about this person. Like I said, I only have some small bits and details about him.
Oh, really interesting then. To be honest, I don't really know the guy Con the Don either. I know Sanctified, of course, like I said before, Blazers member, been around for a long time, played in lots of demo modes, you know, lurks around the deep wilderness as well, and the Rev Caves and such, which should be pretty interesting to see how good he is, because he's one of the best Brids, I think, from Blazers, of course, as well. We have 1013
Sanctified loves his he loves his Rev Cave.
Yeah, we have 1013 to God as well, still in the tournament. He's probably one of the favorites to win, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think people just expect 10-13 to win. I think it's more of like a situation like that more than people don't. It's not that people don't want to see someone else also go through. I think everyone just kind of knows that 10-13 really is the top dog in this bracket.
Yeah.
I think they're aware of how good he is, and they don't expect anyone to be able to match that. So it will be interesting. I think that there are people that can at least keep up with 10-13. But I think it's very hard for someone to beat 10-13 on the tracker, for example.
If you had to put a name out of the the guys we got left in this winners bracket in terms of what's going to be his hardest battle potentially going into the finals, who do you think has the highest chance, the highest odds to maybe dethrone 10-13 as that potential winner?
I see. This is going to sound like a lot of people, but I see 3 people that could potentially at least keep up with him.
Right.
I would have to place my bets on King Sam, Full Send, and Sanctified. I think those 3 people are good enough to keep up with him. However, I'm not entirely sure if they're going to be able to beat him on a tracker and such.
Okay.
It's a difficult battle for sure.
Right, well, we will be starting with our first fight of the day very shortly. Twitch chat, if you're not already, make sure you chuck in the prediction if you have some channel points. You've got a few seconds left to do that. Con the Don or Sanctified, who you're putting your points on to win. I personally would go with the boy Sanctified because he's a good friend of mine. And yeah, we're jumping into it straight away. I've got to stay unbiased, though, of course, casting. We're jumping in with Con the Don versus Sanctified, the first fight of the day, day 2. Here we go, baby.
Both of them kind of just starting off with bolts right now. Not casting many barrages here. You're staying true to the bolts. Seems like Con the Don has caught the first freeze, and indeed he has. He's got the DD advantage right now. Bolt Sanctified at 21 on robes, off prey as well. Sanctified is trying to get some hits back right now. Oh, and he gets all that. He gets all of that damage back in one hit right there.
Yeah, quite unfortunate for him. We actually watched YM Loves Me or Con the Don a second ago warming up versus Kemp Q, and Sanctified hitting the 34 bolt as well and the 14 to match, just consistently doing damage, man. And he was off to a bit of a bad start, but he's just turning it around right there. That's a claw spec on prayer 28. Second claw spec.
Sanctified nearly getting KO'd. Wait,
wow.
no, that's Con the Don nearly getting KO'd. Yeah, my apologies.
Nah, you're
Jesus Christ, that was a good fake here, I'm not gonna lie.
And then another 41 bolt.
Oh my god, it's a 39.
My god.
It's a 36! He's bolted him on ropes. Oh, he only hit a 0.
I was going to say, man, Sanctified just, starting the day off right now with the most insane RNG of his bolts and his crossbow. My god, we've seen like 30, 40, 40, 30, I think, so far. Although saying that,
getting it back, but Sanctified gets a 23. I mean, Sanctified at this stage is probably up like 150, 200 HP maybe?
Oh man, that was a beautiful freeze there as Con the Don tries to go in for the claw spec and then gets the DD as well. Sanctified is honestly walking all over him right now. Con the Don needs to use that first special attack, man, because he's not used it yet. And there it comes in on the prey melee.
And he does get hit harder by that whip as well. That is very unfortunate. Sanctified still staying strong in this fight. Just absolutely annihilating his opponent right now, and he doesn't seem to be showing any mercy towards Con the Don. Right now, Con the Don probably needs to do around 300 damage to even out what the HP is, and unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh, that was a nice claw spec off prayer, though, but unfortunately on the tank, it only hit a 0, and he desperately needed that one to hit to try and get back into this fight. I mean, I would say that Sanctified is looking stronger right now. His switches, his movement, and his free hits that he's got a big advantage, but, saying that as well, he has got some pretty disgusting RNG, just consistently battering his opponent and not really giving Con the Don any kind of leniency or way back into the fight.
Yeah, I mean,
26 bolt as
so
well.
far, Sanctified is still going strong. He's staying true to the bolts as well. I mean, he's not really switching it up. He knows that it works, and he's just keeping with it. And Con the Don really hasn't changed his playstyle all that much. He seems to be getting bolted on ropes a decent amount. He is dealing a little bit of damage back here and there, but still, I do think Sanctified is still out DPS in him despite that.
Yeah, as you said yesterday, he keeps getting caught in the silky cloth, in the low range and melee defense gear.
Yeah, after yesterday, we said robe so much, we desperately had to switch up the wording.
Absolutely. Well, I think at this point in time, I think YM Loves Me is pretty much out of food right now, and I think Sanctified is going to make short work of him. I believe the comeback that he's going to need is going to be like 200 plus damage. Well, I guess we'll see via the tracker soon, but Sanctified, ensuring that this lead he keeps throughout and finishes up nice and quickly. Catching that freeze was really integral. Claw spec coming in on prayer, hitting a 0 sadly though.
For him hitting a 0 right there, like you said, yeah, but still, I mean, Sanctified being up as much as he is, he knows that this is a comfortable win for him. Unless something insane happens and somehow Condodon gets a miracle. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Sanctified getting a 42 there. He should be taking down Con. No, he did hit a 0 on the robes there.
Smart play as well to sit on 100+ hit points here. Like, you know you've won the fight. Don't even risk the KO. We've seen a couple people getting KO'd yesterday, and I hope we see some more today. But Sanctified should clear this up nicely with maybe a whip hit. I mean, any hit he hits right now. In the robes, go on, finish him. There we go. And that means that Sanctified takes the first win, 1-0 in this best-of-3 first fight of the day. That was pretty intense fight off the bat. We saw so much damage going in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely interested to see the PvP tracker on that one. I kind of wanted Sanctified to KO him just a little bit earlier because... if he did, we would have seen just how insane that RNG actually was. I do think those zeros at the end kind of add up a little bit of deserved damage to even it out on the tracker. But still, he should have a lot more deserved damage. Sorry, not a lot more deserved damage. A lot less deserved damage. And looking at the tracker, I am correct. Sanctified did do 576 damage dealt compared to his 488 deserved. Still, getting the Bodhi number on the pros correct there. Versus YM's 47%, but I'm not surprised to see that Con lost on the tracker there. I mean, he was getting RNG'd very heavy at the start. He was kind of in defensive mode throughout the entire fight. It's kind of to be expected to lose on the tracker there, since you don't really have much of an opportunity to do much back, so...
Yeah, I mean, the tracker kind of skews people's perception of who deserves to win fights like that. But I mean, it's kind of, if you're in the lead already and your opponent is constantly having to eat, you're going to be able to get those free hits. You know, that's why he managed to get an extra almost 10 free hits off. And not only that, but you're going to focus on eating, playing defensively, and trying to catch your opponent off prayer. Like, sometimes you've just got to bolt back or just, you know, damage 1-for-1, not really worry too much about you know, hitting them off prayer at the same time. So from the get-go, really, YM Loves Me was down so much HP, it was just difficult for him to really claw his way back into the fight. But it is a best-of-3, of course, so Condodon still has a chance to bring this one back, although, as we always say, you know, having the 1-0 lead, Sanctified only needs to win one more, so he must feel very confident opening this fight up. First one of the day as well. Yeah, I think he's got this one in the bag, to be honest. But hey, it's not over till it's over. RNG plays a big...
Yeah, to be fair, the RNG could just switch up and the reverse could happen. We saw what happened yesterday. Might happen today. But so far, Sanctified looking strong. He does have the 1-0 lead right now. He only needs to win one more in order to advance himself through the round. Luckily for him, I don't think he has to fight 10... If he does actually advance here, I don't think he has to fight 10-13 up until the final. So his hardest opponent, if he beats Con, should be full send.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, after this fight, he's not going to have an easy one. We're getting into the really end game of the tournament right now. Round 4 is what this guy's going to get into. After that, you've got the semi-finals and the finals. So he's only a few matches now away from, you know, potentially grabbing a piece of the pie, the $1,500 that's being given away today. Once again, so much money, so important to a lot of these players as well. Here we go. Condodon versus Sanctified. Round 2 of the best of 3. Take it away, West Ham.
So far, both of them kind of just standing still, not having done much damage. It looks like Con does have the first freeze though, getting the first bit of damage there with a 34 whip. But Sanctified still staying strong. He's keeping his tank on as much as he can. He does make a mistake there and does cause a barrage in his K-top, but still, he should have the DD advantage any second now, which gives him time also to heal up from that damage he just took.
Yeah, Con's actually beginning there was really strong. He got quite a few nice bolts off consistently there and he's got quite a bit of damage. And also you know, realizes that the claw was coming in there and beautifully predicts it with the prey melee, you know, cancelling out Sanctified's first special attack. Hitting a 38 bolt to follow as well. Con right now is looking really strong compared to the last fight. He realizes he's got to bring one back in order to stay in the winner's bracket competition.
Yeah, seems like the RNG is kind of switching up right now. Sanctified being the one taking the more damage here. Still though, he's keeping true to those shield barrage. I'm not entirely sure if that was a good strat. Sometimes we have seen a lot of opponents throughout this tournament so far kind of stick with the shield and not really use the mage's book too much. I do believe Sanctified could have maged there without actually taking a hit back on his robes and just flicked his tank. Sanctified is good enough to do that, as we've seen in an example right there. Con does get a claw off prey, seems to go for a double but fails it. Still getting some decent damage from that claw, about 45 damage for a claw off prey on tank.
Yeah, pretty nice. And Sanctified's claw spec before that was a 0 as well. So I'd have to say that Con's probably up a tiny bit of HP due to that claw spec at 2. Sanctified did bring it back quite a bit, but the bolts coming in from Con right now are just absolutely relentless, hitting constant 20s
sitting
and 30s.
really low HP, kind of risking it, making sure that he's not losing any momentum here. He does probably still have his triple elite, so he should be fine in that regard. I'm not entirely sure on what Sanctified's claw spec situation is. Does he have another one?
I think Sanctified used both his claw specs actually off the bat. If he does have one left, we're going to see about it very soon. But both players will get their third spec in before the end of the fight. The RNG's been good, but it's not been that good. There's a claw spec coming in from YM as well. That's his last one he's used.
And he follows it up with a 44 whip
Very
right there
nice.
as well.
Yeah, when those whips actually lash and hit the damage you want to, because being a 4-tick weapon as well, rather than a 5-tick like the crossbow and the mage, you can really, kind of tunnel over into that snowball effect that you really want in these fights to really do a lot of damage output in a small amount of time. Right now, Sanctified freezing his opponent, getting the DD and trying to switch things up a little bit. I'd say right now that still it's looking pretty even. That big bolt
Gets a 44 bolt
wow.
for chancing his opponent there as well, by the looks of things. Still, Sanctified getting the RNG that he so desperately needs right now. As I say that, though, he does begin hitting zeros, sitting fairly low HP. Might want to watch out for that.
Yeah, right now YM's returning with the DD, but gets caught straight away. Sanctified doing a fantastic job right now to be able to freeze him as he's being DD'd upon too. But chucking a few bolts back and forth for the moment. Both players will get another claw spec very shortly, so we've got to wait for that one. Sitting on this HP as well, considering they have claw specs, pretty dangerous. But Con does manage to get the prey melee up there. Sanctified's claw spec is nulled, hitting a 0. Currently, both players sitting still so low, man.
On the robes there for a 0, unfortunately for Sanctified, not really hitting too much damage. Still, though, it looks like he's caught another freeze. Should have the DD momentum yet again. Might be able to get a bolt on the robes here. No, he doesn't, but he still hits a 25 through the prayer and the tank right there. Getting a couple free hits, maybe.
Yeah, getting lashed back at 24 as well, though. I'd say Sanctified right now has really had the advantage when it comes to some of the DDs, but it looks like he's almost out of food, if not out right now.
Oh, he is out of food right now. Oh, wait, no, he has eaten up. He did use the redemption.
He started to fool his opponent. He's got the comments being like, yes, finally, I've got back into the fight. I'm in the lead right now. And then out of nowhere, back to full hit points. Sanctified playing this very safe. He does realize
that another overlord proc, though, but only for a 7 right there. Con only hitting a 2 claw by the looks of things. Off prayer as well. Claw specs haven't really been too strong throughout the fight. We've seen a couple decent claws, but no big ones so far.
Wow, the chain of those barrage hits there for Sanctified, really beautiful, changing things up a little bit, and YM was caught off prayer 3 times in a row, dealing like 50, 60 damage in a matter of seconds. I'd say right now that Sanctified is most likely up in supplies. These guys must be almost out though. We've seen 3 claw specs from each of them. I doubt we'll see a third one. And I think the main reason why Sanctified's really getting that advantage at the moment is the mage book switch, man. He's managed to catch those freezes more consistently, and having that DD advantage has done wonders for him, getting loads of hits off prayer and such.
Yeah, I think Sanctified, as of right now, is getting a bit more lucky with the freezes as well. I haven't really seen Con get any opportunities to DD Sanctified. Sanctified has had a DD advantage for the past 4 freezes, I think. Seems like both of them might be out of food here. Condodon sitting about 20 HP to Sanctified's 40 right now. Still, Sanctified trying to get a barrage off. Condodon is not even flicking his prayers at all right now. He's just camping that redemption, which is not a good strat at all. Still, he might be able to bring it home because they're both sitting about the same HP, and he does go down to that 19 bolt. If he did actually flick his prey range and then put on the redemption, he would have been able to survive that and proc a redemption, but Sanctified does move on forward now. Condodon is out of the tournament, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, so neck
he
and
goes
neck.
down to the loser's bracket, actually. Sorry, he's not out of the tournament, so he does have a second chance.
Yeah, that is Condodon's first loss of the tournament, actually, as well. Oh, sorry, not first loss. Kemp Q did beat him once, but his first loss against a player in terms of losing a bracket fight. So he is indeed into the losers round 4, where he has still a few attempts to try and claw it back up and get back into the final. Double knockout bracket, like we said before, so you have to win 2 fights in this tournament in order to be eliminated entirely. Sanctified must be feel real good about that one. Winning 2-0 off the bat, starting this tournament off. And only now being a couple fights away from potentially winning some prize money.
I mean, looking at the PvP tracker, he did outperform his opponent right there. You can see Sanctified with 84 hits to YM's 80, and Sanctified having 593 deserved damage to YM's 525. So he's up a little bit. It's not too much. It's definitely way more of an even fight this time around. But unfortunately for Condodon, he still didn't manage to pull through. And for Con, it looks like he's going to have a quite hard opponent in the losers bracket as well. Looking at the bracket, Con's most likely going to be having to fight either Grizz or Adams, or both of them being really good opponents that I do believe got taken out by either 1013 or King Sam.
Yeah, you are right there. This is going to be a real difficult fight for those guys. Going to be a really interesting matchup. Although before we get to that, we also, I think, did Minza not turn up today? Yeah, it looks like Minza may not have turned up. He was going to be the next fight we're going to see, which means Frankie Full Send has actually gone through to fight Sanctified in the round 4 as well. That's just a situation that happens sometimes. You know, real life stuff goes up, happens, and all that kind of thing. I guess as a result, we'll be going into the next fight, which is going to be, I believe, 10-13 potentially. No, it's going to be Gosu versus Sam. Oh, this is a big one as well. You know, King Sam's been. We actually don't know what clans King Sam belongs to, do we?
No, I mean, yesterday we saw about just about every clan saying he was in a different team. So
yeah,
I do believe we're just going to leave him at teamless for now. No one really knows what team he's in until we get confirmation. But
and as for Gosu, he actually knocked out Grey in the round 2 to get through to this round right now. Do you know much about Gosu?
I don't know too much about Gosu. I mean, we spoke about this yesterday. It depends if it is Gosu from Frontline. So far, I've had no confirmation on that.
Right.
But as it stands right now, I'm not going to say he's with any team until I fully know. So for now, I do believe we're just going to leave him at teamless. But still, if it is the person that I think it is, I do think he's got a good shot here. King Sam definitely been a hard opponent, though. He's done very well in this tournament so far.
Very interesting. Yeah, he actually beat Degenerate Skate in the first round. Degenerate Skate being ex-frontline leader, now belonging to a clan called Solid Tag, and used to stream back in the day, Deep Wilderness as well. You know, been around for many years. One of the old guys from the group. So this guy definitely means business. This should be a really interesting and fair matchup. From what we saw from King Sam as well, he 2-0'd both of his last fights, so he's actually undefeated in this tournament right now. If anyone can beat him, though, it looks like Gosu may have a chance based on his prior victories. We'll be jumping into that very shortly, my friends, so bear with us. The guys are just getting set up, and then we should be jumping in. If you're just joining us, we've just started the live stream today. This is day 2 of the OSRS US West PvP circuit. We have $1,500 once again on the line today, and that's $1,000 for first place, $350 for second, and $150 for third. So stay tuned. We have about 6 hours worth of broadcast ahead of us, full of lots of action. We've got Kempq still in the tournament. We have 10-13 still in here. A load of heavy hitters from all the big clans like Solid Tag and Frontline, etc. Should be really interesting. Also Sanctified as well from Blazers, like I said before. Unfortunately, though, the biggest upset yesterday was the fact that the people's champion, Eevee Meister, unfortunately fell. Of course, to RNG.
Evan
he just got
his best, unfortunately, but didn't really do well enough to actually stay in the tournament. But still, we have a good fight between the two. It looks like a lot of people are betting on Gosu to win, which is surprising. I thought a lot more people would be betting on King Sam. King Sam definitely performing really well in the tournament. From
Am I allowed
what we saw
to bet
yesterday.
on the votes?
You should be. I can't because I'm from Sweden and I think it's against the law here or something like that. It is just not allowed. But still, we have a exciting fight coming up, and it looks like. Wait, what should we? What was that prediction? I have no idea what that poll was, but regardless, we're just waiting for the opponents here to go in. It seems like both of them are just grabbing the supplies. Apparently, Minza only showed up 1 minute too late.
No way. Oh, he slept in. What time is it for US West right now, I wonder? I'm guessing like midday or maybe early morning or something. Regardless, we're jumping into the first fight of these two absolute titans of the tournament. We've said before, King Sam, we're not too sure which clan he belongs to, and never win as well. Gosu is a bit of a beast that's beat a few people too. It's 10 in the morning.
Yeah, King Sam not starting off too strong there, getting a staff bash straight away, but does get a very nice claw, followed up by the double right there, getting about 100 damage from those claws combined into a 32 barrage, getting some nice DPS straight off the bat, but he has wasted both of his specs.
Yeah, interesting to use them both off the start, but as a result, obviously, now his opponent Gosu doesn't have to really worry too much about praying melee as much, although obviously has to get off his claw spec as soon as possible. King Sam now opting to actually eat up to 4 hit points to make the most of the DD. Gets claw spec on melee prey, only a 38, so that exchange there wasn't too bad for him, but he's just hitting zeros right now. Also gets frozen in place by Neverwin. Beautiful freeze by him, 21, gets a free hit off as well, and now can start to switch over the momentum of this fight, although the staff bash right there wasn't the best sight to see.
Yeah, still we're seeing some nice movement from Gosu right now, but it's not really doing him that much good. Seems like they're both still splat. I have no idea how Gosu splashed on that man's Mystic Top and tank, and he somehow manages to catch it.
27, wasn't it?
That is very depressing for Gosu, but still, he's got some decent damage in right now. Kind of evening out the lead, but still, I do think King Sam is up from those claw specs that he dumped.
Yeah, that 22 whip on the prey. Oh, 44 claw spec
King
coming
Sam
in.
nearly getting chanced there. Looks like he was about
60
to 65 HP taking that claw spec. I mean, fortunately for him, he hasn't died, but still, we've seen a lot of potential KOs here, but not really that many of them happening. I do believe Gray was one of the few people that managed to get a KO yesterday.
Yeah, right now, Gosu, Neverwin is really not letting up, to be honest. King Sam has some nice RNG at the start, but I'd say that right now, Neverwin's probably evened it up quite a bit. Saying that, though, right now, as I mentioned that, King Sam is really putting the pressure on, catching the freeze potentially to get the DD advantage, getting whipped on the robes, not being hit any damage, though, unlucky for Gosu. Trying to get away a little bit and catch this freeze next to keep up the momentum. Does manage to catch it. Does go for the DD after a free hit with the ball, hitting a 30 as well. Neverwin's RNG is really on point right now, just chipping away his opponent's HP. King Sam needs to desperately eat up and try to catch this freeze to eliminate the issue right now.
He does bowl his opponent on robes there, but only hits a 0, unfortunately for him. Still, King Sam taking a decent bit of damage here, not really dealing much back. Gets his first piece of damage with that 14 whip right there. Into the 21 bolt, though, so he is getting some damage. Bolting his opponent on robes again, only for a 7, though. Whipping him on robes, getting a 0. Seems like King Sam's hitting his opponent a lot on robes, but it doesn't really seem to be paying off all that much for him.
No, and Neverwin again, keeping this momentum up by catching the DDs. I think his RNG with his barrages has been pretty solid right now. King Sam desperately trying to get that third claw spec out, but unable to do so. Neverwin's movement really perfect here, understanding that his opponent has the claw spec ready. 28 bolt coming in. King Sam finally catches the freeze and goes for the DD after a bolt hitting a 0. Trying to go for the claw spec, hitting a scratch of a 20. You can't be upset with that on Prey Melee and on tank. Right now, King Sam getting the claw spec off finally, only a 24 though. Momentum does shift up for him. He needs to catch this freeze and continue up the pressure, try and come back into this fight. Neverwin trying to go for the claw 2, but noticing the Prey Melee's on there, so decides to cancel it out. Next free is going to be imperative and seeing the swing of the momentum. 66.
Ooh, that's a massive claw right there for Gosu, and it looks like King Sam is out of food, sitting on about 10 HP right now. Gosu is needing to deal any damage here. King Sam trying to flick those prayers, but Gosu's taking his time before hitting him again.
Yeah, he's down to like 5 HP right now. The redemption just flick off now. I think he missed it just by a millisecond.
Yeah, I think he missed it right there. So he's sitting on about 5 HP right now. Gosu is needing to hit anything, and he does go down to that 11, unfortunately.
I would say that Gosu right there was actually about no food as well. It seemed so darn even. I think the main difference there in that fight, I think Neverwin's RNG Gosu. He just got some sick freezes and could really capitalize on them and create some really nice momentum gaps for him to really execute his opponent with. I saw 2 claw specs coming in from Sam as well, that were both heavy hitters, like a 50 claw spec and then like a 70 on his last claw spec too. And when you get claw specs like that, it really makes a huge difference right there. I'd be really interested to see the tracker though. I feel like it was very, very even in that matchup.
Yeah, currently waiting for the tracker, but still, I do think Gosu had a decent lead on King Sam.
Yep.
I'm not entirely sure. It's kind of hard to tell just by watching, but it wouldn't surprise me if Gosu's up like maybe 100 HP on that fight.
You know what I did right there? You told me that, I'm surprised everyone's voting for Gosu. King Sam's going to win this one, so I put all my channel points on King Sam because the odds look too tasty.
I didn't say it was gonna win it.
I'm blaming you, West Ham. How dare you?
All right, well, looking at the tracker for that fight. Wait, no, that is not the right tracker.
Oh, that's the
unless the names have switched, that is not the right tracker.
Oh dear. That does mean that, of course, Gosu Neverwin is up 1-0 now in this round 3 fight. Best of 3, of course. We've still got 2 fights to go, potentially. We're jumping straight into the next one, actually, without seeing the PvP tracker first. These guys are ready to go and more than happy to jump into it. King Sam starting off with a flick of the whip. Both players retaliating with that, but no damage being dealt. Next freeze coming in for King Sam. Actually catches it off the bat, gets a bolt in 234. Beautiful start for King Sam. Coming back, swinging,
getting some nice damage
back
with that whip as well, followed by a 9 again. Maybe getting a decent bolt there, no, unfortunately. I do believe that bolt XP was on the robes. He does get a claw off prey for about 40 damage right there. Goes for the double, not hitting too much, getting another 26 damage though. So getting about 70 to 80 damage from those claws. Still, decent damage nonetheless, and it really pays off when Gosu is just hitting straight 0s off prey right there.
Yeah, at least Gosu gets his first spec out there, but unfortunately for him, hits a 0 on the right pro as well. It was on tank, to be fair, too. Catching that freeze, though, was huge for Gosu. Really beautifully played there. I'd say that King Sam right now is up by quite a little bit of HP, and again, the strategy was for him, as it was in the last fight, to just chuck those 2 claw specs out to try, you know, start steamrolling that momentum to give him a really nice head start so he can play a little bit more cautiously. Claw spec coming in again for Neverwin. Nothing being hit there for Gosu. His claw spec RNG was used up in the last fight, clearly. Currently, looks like King Sam is potentially up a tiny bit of HP, but it is very early in the fight still. Anything can happen. Nice combo there from Gosu as well.
Nice little barrage to whip stack right there for about 29 damage. Still, King Sam having the... sorry, not King Sam. Gosu having a DD advantage hit right here. Gosu still takes a decent amount of hits on the robes, I've noticed. I'm not entirely sure if King Sam is also doing that. I haven't really seen as much of that from him, but still, King Sam, you're staying strong with the... whips and bolts here, not really trying to go for the barrages. He does get it right there after the 4 hits that they just exchanged, and he's getting some decent damage, getting a 15 into a 22. He's trying to get hit as many hits in as he can, but it doesn't really look like anyone's getting any free hits right here, unfortunately.
No, he's been trading 1-for-1, but I would say that King Sam potentially catching his opponent off prayer just a little bit more and getting a little bit more of a head lead with the decent RNG at the moment. But Gosu switching it up, getting the freeze, getting a free hit there from a bolt hit, but still just not really doing any damage. King Sam getting that 9, getting hit at 23 on the robes as well, going for the whip hit on the run, but just doing no damage. Here we go. Gosu's now going to overdrive, starting to hit a little bit, get those 20s, those 10s in. He needs that damage splat. 28 barrage too. He's up like 50 HP from that little exchange there, taking very little damage himself, but being frozen by King Sam on the spot as he was trying to get that DD advantage.
Yeah, so far between two, I would say that King Sam is probably up a decent bit of damage here. Between the exchanges, I feel like King Sam's done a bit more damage, but still, I'm surprised to see that both of them are really good at like making sure whenever they are being DD'd upon, it doesn't really look like they let the opponent get any free hits here.
No, the quick switches in terms of like catching the opponent off guard, it's really well done. Neverwin right now hitting some nice bolts too. I'd say that King Sam was up at the start, but now Neverwin's getting a few free hits and really, you know, switching up that momentum and really getting a bit of a lead, I'd say, actually. Neverwin Gosu currently being up 1-0 in this best of 3 as well, so Sam desperately needs to win one back. Otherwise, he's down to the loser's bracket and will lose his first exchange in this tournament. But catching the freeze here, really important for him. Does splash, unfortunately for him. Goes for it again and does manage to get the DD. Beautifully done for him. So now he can start to hopefully pop the pressure a little bit more. Both players getting that 3rd claw spec any second now, which is why they're putting up Prey Melee.
Ooh,
and wow, Neverwin comes out on top of that.
Trading claw specs right there, but looks like Gosu definitely got the bigger one. Maybe even chancing his opponent, not entirely sure. It looked like King Sam was about 30 HP left even after that 45 claw, so could have been something, but for now, can't entirely tell. King Sam still trying his best to get as many robe hits as he can, because Gosu has gotten a few free hits every here and there, and it looks like he might be coming out on top. King Sam really struggling with those switches right now. He seems to be 2-ticking a lot of it, which really leaves some room for Gosu to manage his prayers a bit better.
Yeah, I'd say that right now. I think once again, Gosu's up quite a bit of hit points, and King Sam's needs some pretty crazy RNG to come back into this fight. I mean, for all I know, though, it could go down to the wire right at the end. It's been so back and forth in this battle, but I do feel like the last few exchanges, Neverwin Gosu's come out on top again, catching that freeze, and once again, you know, having the swing of momentum in his favor. The 5 hit on the robes there from the bolts, unfortunately not as much damage as he probably wanted, but still he's not taking really any damage at all at the moment. Getting a free hit barrage. No, he doesn't. He misclicks.
Does get a 22 bolted onto him though, but still, regardless, it looks like he still has the upper hand. The RNG has kind of switched up a little bit. King Sam bolting yet another 0 on the robes there, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, Gosu still, though, his barrages are definitely paying off from right now, catching King Sam off prayer quite a lot. King Sam trying to go for those bolts, but not really hitting much with them. Constant 0s, unfortunately, for him. Both players going to be nearing out of supplies right now. This fight has been pretty bad RNG for both players. I think they've been going on for such a long time. That's a huge freeze for Neverwin. Gosu catching a 35. Once again, his RNG is so strong.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the RNG kind of switched throughout the fight. King Sam definitely having the upper hand on the beginning, but it seems like throughout the midst of the fight and now towards the late game of the fight, Gosu's really coming out on top here. They might even be getting a 4th claw spec, if I had to guess. Yeah, I mean, this fight has been running for a lot longer than what we usually see. So far, this tournament has gone by really fast. We've seen almost every fight end before 60 hits, which is well below average, honestly. We haven't really seen a lot of those 100 hit fights, but it looks like this might be one of them. King Sam definitely clutching the straws right now. He is almost dead with about 30 HP left, trying his best to get those redemption procs. It looks like Gosu definitely has a significant lead though, with about 150 damage up on him, but still, King Sam does catch that freeze, and he should have the DD momentum in about 1 to 2 hits here. Going in for that DD. And
does get it, but he's sitting on 30 HP right now, and of course Gosu sitting on 100, and that's
doesn't proc that redemption, barrage. And he does go down to a 15 barrage. Unfortunately, oh, he drops a piece as well.
Wow.
And that means Gosu has advanced in the tournament. But King Sam definitely put up a good fight, I must say. Kind of unlucky for him right there. It seemed like he put on his redemption last second and didn't manage to get it.
The arrogance or maybe confidence there of dropping the piece, whereas his opponent saying, good fight, fella. Well, I mean, to be fair, Neverwin did win both fights, and the first one was quite close, but that second one, he definitely had a huge lead towards the end. He was playing that beautifully. The catches of the freezes were great, but equally, I would say his RNG was quite a bit better. I just don't think his opponent was able to, King Sam was really able to get into the fight really very much. He just couldn't catch those really important freezes, and every time he did, he wasn't doing much damage off prayer, whereas his opponent was just chipping away at him constantly. And with that being said, I have lost all of my channel points. Thank you very much, Casper, once again.
You are very welcome. This is why I don't gamble, apart from when I do it on RuneScape.
Yeah. That does mean, though, of course, that we see Gosu going through to round 4. However, his next fight could potentially be 10-13, so we'll see if he stays in the winner's bracket.
Yeah, I mean, if we had to take bets, I do believe most people are going to bet for 10-13 in this scenario. Yeah. Looking at the tracker for that fight, though, before we head on, that is the first fight in this tournament with 100 hits, with Gosu having 101 hits to King Sam's 96. So despite him getting those 3 hits, it didn't really seem to make that big of a difference. Gosu having 54% praise correct to King Sam's 45%, and having 84 extra deserved damage.
Yeah, so unsurprisingly, really, that Gosu did manage to win that interaction. But again, it was quite close, to be honest. So next fight that we're going to see will, in fact, I believe, be Sanctified versus Full Send momentarily. Let the guys get warmed up and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, quite interesting scenes we've seen so far, to be honest. I was pretty surprised that King Sam got taken out 2-0 right there by Gosu, but definitely a very strong contender. Anyhow, before we do jump into the next fight, I have a few things to let you guys know about. So, if you'd like to, with me, check out by typing !community in the Twitch channel, if you'd like to. And you can sign up, become a member of the community team, which offers all kinds of perks, such as access to exclusive content, opportunities, and giveaways. Method also provide help to aspiring and up-and-coming streamers to grow their channels for a number of different initiatives, such as, getting rated by other streamers in Method, by the channel itself, merch discounts, and exclusive content like guides, tips, and other ways to get your stream started. Not only that, but if you type !merch in the chat, you can show support to the organization. Check out some of the brand new merchandise from the store that they've recently added. I have the jumper itself, very soft, very high quality. If you've enjoyed the tournament so far, then feel free to, support the organization once again so they can continue doing stuff like this and add some more massive prize pools to the equation. Lastly but not least, social in the chat to keep up to date with all the exciting content we'll be doing. We have Q&As coming up with all the Method streamers from OSRS coming soon. Of course, every single weekend, Method's giving away $1,500 worth of prizes to all these different circuits. And in 2 weeks' time, we have the World Championship with a further $3,000 being given away. Of course, $1,500 being given away today. Top 8 players from this tournament will go to that World Championship final. So there's a lot to keep looking out for, and I do recommend following the Method Twitter and the Twitch channel, of course, if you haven't already, to keep up to date with all the news. Anywho, we will be joining our next fight once again momentarily, just waiting for the guys to get sorted out. We're watching Sanctified versus Frankie, Full Send. Sanctified, of course, belonging to Blazers, being a well-known PKer, usually going to Deep Wilderness 44s, and also, wait, no, I'm wrong, we're going to 10-13 versus OG Monkfish.
We are going into the fight between 10-13 and Monkeys right now. So far, Monkey's catching the first freeze, but 10-13 catching him right back with that 20 barrage. Still, Monkey's being on the upside with that 21 bolt right now. It will be a bit of a standstill until they get unfrozen, which should be in about 3 hits. Still, Both of them kind of just exchanging hits here. It looks like 10-13. It's still staying nice with those one-ticks. He definitely has the upper hand in terms of switches. I mean, it's very hard to predict a man that can one-tick just about everything.
Yeah. Yeah, his one-ticks are insane, man. You called it freestyling yesterday when you just switched between all of his attack styles constantly. But saying that, right now, Monkeys is getting the upper hand. He's up quite a bit of hit points from those 30-plus bolts several times in a row, but, you know, if anyone can bring it back, we're sure that for 10-30 we'll be able to. Lovely claw spec, but Monkeys managed to get the prey melee up twice there, wasting both his claws, going for the retaliation as well, but not actually using it just yet. Monkey still has 2 claw specs left, chucking 1 out of 40 through the prayer.
40 through prayer right there, followed by a 13. 10-13's actually getting annihilated right now, probably being down about 150 damage already.
I'm putting all my points on Monkeys. I believe I have 100 points left. Do it, Monkeys. From the RNG I've seen so far, if anyone can do it, you can do it. Always saying that. 10-13 does switch up the equation, catching that freeze, getting the DD, getting a free hit as well. I do still believe, though, if anyone can beat 10-13. We've not seen him lose a single fight in this tournament so far. He is obviously a demon, hitting a 41 bolt. There go my points out the window. A 49
into the 49, and it looks like the RNG has turned. 10-13 is finally getting some damage in. He's turned the tables, and Monkeys is now on the defensive by the looks of things. Really trying as hard as not to get frozen here, but 10-13 not really praying range enough. Monkeys getting the damage straight back with that 31 into the 40 bolt, into a 18 barrage and a 15 bolt. Still 10-13 taking loads of damage here, not really able to do anything about it. He's trying his hardest, but he is just not using the right prayers. He's keeping his tank on, but it's not doing enough for him.
I am keeping my Monkeys stock all the way to the top. Hold, boys, hold. He's staying in this fight as best he can.
The diamond hands.
I think he still has the claw spec actually as well. I'm not too sure about that one. If not, he'll get one soon. Now 10-13 does get the freeze here though. He gets a free hit whip as well and keeps up the momentum shift for him. But I think right now 10-13 is probably down a little bit of hit points. Obviously it's not over till it's over. Catching a whip on the ropes there on Monkeys. When Monkeys is playing defensively like this, being DD'd upon, he doesn't feel as confident, I think. When he has a bit of space and a bit of momentum, he's able to do a lot of damage. But actually going for the DD himself right there, catching that clutch freeze. But unfortunately for him, just hitting nothing at all. Just lots and lots of zeros, and right now 10-13. I know it's cat the free actually, but he is doing pretty good with hitting
Monkey has a different style of fighting that we haven't really seen before. He's really using that Mage's Book to get that extra mage defense and make sure that he isn't really getting frozen as much. He's doing a really good job keeping up with 10-13 so far, but 10-13 having the upper hand right now. Has Monkey's DC? No, he has not. Okay, he was just standing still for a bit. I guess he was just eating up and it wasn't really showing, but still, I do believe he is still up HP so far.
Yeah, 35 barrage though right there for 10-13, and once again all those free hits definitely going to add up for him. I think he's probably even the playing field quite a lot. 24 through the prayer as well, getting hit at 13 back only, and a 33 barrage.
10-13's barrage is really going strong right now. Seems like that is adding up the damage for him, maybe even evening out the lead that Monkeys had. Both of them going for a claw spec right there, dealing just about the same damage. Didn't seem to be big on either side. Both of them catching each other on tank and on prey melee. Monkey's trying to get a couple more bolts off prey, but doesn't really seem to be doing him too much. I do believe 10-13 took his prayer off of that one as well.
Bolt for bolt being exchanged off prayer. Looks like 10-13 coming on top, but getting hit at 39 as well on Monkeys. My god, 10-13 is really going to overdrive right now. He had a bit of a shoddy start, but then he got that 40 bolt into the 40 bolt again, and since then,
Monkey's out of food. Monkey's out of food, sitting 10 HP right now, and does get taken out by that 7.
Yeah.
So 10-13 still comes out on top despite all of that. That was a really RNG-based fight between the two. It really looked like Monkeys had to start, and then 10-13 kind of took it back in the middle, and then it was just a play around with whoever could get the best RNG there at the end. And I'm interested to see the tracker.
Wow. I've just seen it. And before we jump into it, can I just say, it's gone. I saw it briefly for a moment there. And,
it could be that the tracker split up into 2 as well. But yeah, looking at the tracker for that one,
oh my gosh,
we have 10-13 with 49% prayers correct, which isn't really all that much compared to fights that we've seen before. It's still a really good amount, but when your opponent is only catching 22%, that's when it really shows right there. 10-13 having 485 deserved damage to Monkeys having 333. 10-13 dealing 550 to Monkeys 415. Major RNG being really even between the two. There's barely any difference there. So regardless, I'd say that both of them really did a good job there. Still, Monkeys really short on the prayers though.
I would say 10-13's being really mage dominant in those fights, going for like 30 plus freezes, whereas Monkey only had like about 15 or so. Both players did get more RNG than they were deserved to hit, so we saw that transition off the start where I really did believe that Monkeys potentially could have actually won that, but I think I forgot for a moment just how much of a demon 10-13 actually is, and only getting 22% of the prayers right, Monkeys. 10-13 is just so good defensively. I mean, to be fair, he did catch a lot of really good freezes, but it's not over just yet. It is a best of 3, of course, in the winners bracket round. 10-13 to God leading 1-0 against Monkeys. And starting off with a really strong start, catching the freeze and getting a couple free hits as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have said it before as well. 10-13 being as fast as he is, it's extremely hard to predict an opponent that can kind of just play around with their inventory as much as they want. I mean, 10-13 can do whatever move he wants, and there's nothing that is stopping him from being as fast as he is. Right now, though, he seems to be sticking with the barrages. They have treated him well in the last fight, so he might be doing this as well. But Monkeys staying true to the bolts that he got, really trying his best to get the same RNG that he got last fight, but still, he actually ended up being down a lot more than what I expected him to, unfortunately.
Both players utilizing their specs off the start there, so we'll start to regen. They still have 1 left, which is why they're praying melee quite a lot. I think 10-13 is probably up quite a bit of HP here. Goes for claw spec, hits nothing, unfortunately, for him, and 10-13 gets a 26 barrage off too. He is up quite a bit of HP already, a 21 barrage again. And just going in with the switches, my gosh, range, mage, melee, mage, range,
that
just constantly switching.
Exactly what I'm talking about as well. I mean, whenever you're fighting 10-13, it's extremely hard to predict. He's just running about in his inventory. You have no idea what he's even clicking, and all of a sudden you get hit with a 1-tick barrage, and that's just how it do be sometimes. But Monkeys still just trying his best to stay unfrozen. He's really camping that mage's book to give him as much mage defense as he can. 10-13 being 10-13 though, he's flicking it all at the same time, doing his best job to make sure that Monkeys is not going to get any insane bolt RNG like we saw in the last fight.
Yeah, sitting full HP as well. 10-13 gets for 40 there as well. Just, increasing his lead by so much. The 18 barrage 2. Monkeys is finding it very difficult to keep up right now. He got the DD only for a short second before 10-13 catches the freeze back and then switches up the momentum for himself. Sitting on full HP too. It's very hard for Monkeys to keep up. A 30 barrage as well. My gosh, 10-13 really increasing the lead by quite a bit right now. I think he's up at least 100, maybe even 200 hit points at this point. Monkeys might be not even able to get his third spec out at this rate, although I imagine it probably will happen soon. 30 bolt as well on the run. My god, even though 10-13 is being DD'd upon, he's doing more damage than Monkeys is at the moment.
Yeah, Monkeys getting a couple free hits there. Doesn't really seem like it's going to be evening out the lead that 10-13 has. And the dangerous thing is Monkeys had a really big lead at the start of the previous fight, but still 10-13 outplaying him really brought 10-13 back. So Monkeys is kind of just relying on RNG right now. He doesn't really seem to be doing better either prayer or tank wise.
I have to agree with you there. He's going for bolts just as much as he possibly can, but 10-13 is predicting all of his prayers really nicely at the moment. Both players will get their third spec soon, I think. The RNG towards the end of the fight is not being as good as it was at the start. Still, 10-13 hitting back 1 for 1. Every time Monkeys gets a little bit of leeway, does a bit of damage, 10-13 just knocks him straight back down again by, utilizing the DD mechanics and those 1-tick switches we keep, frothing at the mouth over. It's actually amazing how quick the hybrid skill is. Catching his opponent on ropes, they're not doing any damage and being frozen in place. Monkeys has an opportunity right now to maybe turn the tide, although it might be a little bit too late for that. He has 1 claw spec coming up. If he hits some kind of massive claw spec and then translate that into a bit of momentum, he can potentially take a lot of damage back in a short space of time. I'll have to wait and see how he does this. Getting a few free hits, and unfortunately for him, only has a 24 claw spec on 10-13 and protects the prep.
So far the claw specs have been somewhat disappointing. We haven't really seen any big ones. To be fair to the opponents here, they have prayed melee on almost every single one of them, so I'm not entirely surprised to see that the claw specs aren't hitting that hard. Still though, 10-13 sitting fairly low HP, but it looks like he's just running away, eating up right now, trying to catch the freeze yet again. Looks like Monkeys and 10-13 has caught each other. Not entirely sure if they even are within range distance. Maybe if they put long range on their crossbows, they can hit each other here. But it looks like Monkeys might be out of food, sitting on about 35 HP, not eating right now. Oh, he has eaten up to about 80 HP there, so I was wrong.
Well, if they do have any food left, they must be on their last few little brew sips. 35 ball coming in from 10-13, trying to catch the freeze now to finish this one up nice and quickly, sitting on almost full HP too. And 21 barrage, I think it must be all over my Monkeys at this point. He's sitting on 20 HP, 15 HP. He's got nothing left, not even flicking the redemption.
Oh, and he does go down to that 33. Wow. It looked like he was praying mage there.
I think he got it up just a bit too late, unfortunately for him, which means that 10-13 does win the fight 2-0. still undefeated despite that first fight coming out on top for Monkfish, being up 100, 200 HP at one time. 1013 kept it cool, and his experience really shows here. And once again, just being, you know, an absolute master of the NH craft, just not going down even once. 1013 goes on to the next round to fight Gosu in round 4 later today. Unfortunately for our man, the OG Monkfish, he'll be going down to the losers round to be fighting... I'm not too sure yet. Potentially Soz, Kemp Q, or Degenerate Skate a bit later today as well. I don't think that was a bit of a surprise for most people in the Twitch chat. Everyone, you know, rooting for 1013, secretly or not, knowing that he's a one of the most superior brids in the game. Wow, what a sick fight, though. Glad to get to see him fight again.
That fight.
Oh yeah,
1013 not having that many free hits actually. He does have 4 free hits on Monkeys with 67 to 63. With 64% praise correct to Monkeys 33%, and 1013 having 552 deserved damage to Monkeys 393. Both of them. Oh wait, sorry, no, 1013 hitting above his deserved damage, but Monkeys hitting below it, which below it is to be expected in most fights. I think Monkeys just kept bolting, man.
Yeah, his bolts were just going in constantly, but he just couldn't get the RNG. At the end of the first fight, I don't think we saw a single bolt proc from him, or maybe like one. He barely got any hits at all, and a bit of a shame for him. I mean, to be fair, keeping up the hits when he's down that much hit points, still, you know, trading 1 for 1, you know, greatly done there, and he kept his spirit up the whole time. Just unfortunately, 1013 being a little bit too fast on the clicks, and a bit better with the offensive prayers, of course. Double the offensive prayers right compared to his opponent, Monkeys. Regardless, Monkeys isn't out for the count. Double elimination bracket, of course, like we said before, so he still has a chance to potentially come back again.
Going for a little bit more even fight, though, we have Sanctified versus Full Send, which should be an interesting watch. It won't be as much of an annihilation as we saw between Monkeys and 1013. So I do believe these opponents are fairly matched with each other in terms of skill. So it should be an interesting watch.
Yeah, so actually the People's Champion, Eevee Meister, was knocked out in the first round. Oh, never mind. Sorry, I thought it was actually Full Send that knocked him out, but it wasn't. I was about to start saying that maybe Sanctified could bring it back for his clanmate. They're both being in Blazers. But Sanctified has lost 1 fight in the tournament so far, just 1 matchup, but he's still, you know, come out on top of all of his battles, and that was to Kemp Q Soz. No, sorry, I am talking smack. It was to Zeman time. My apologies. He's lost 1 fight entirely, whereas Frankie Full Send, his opponent, hasn't lost a single fight. He also 2-0'd Abyss in the round 2 and took out Minza the Max Caper in the last round as well. So like you said before, this is probably gonna be a very fair matchup, and I really don't know what to expect from these two players and who's going to come out on top.
It does appear that someone has just gone all in on Frankie here, or Full Send, betting 11,000 Method channel points right there.
Well, good luck. I guess I'll even it out a little bit. I'll chuck on all my points on Sanctified, the last 50 that I've got, thanks to you. Right, jumping into the fight, we have Sanctified versus Full Send, best of 3, round 4 now, only 2 fights away from the finals. If either player wins this, they're into the semi-finals and pretty much guarantee themselves some prize money almost. So starting off, looks like Sanctified gets the DD advantage, gets a free hit too, not doing too much damage.
Really liking the movement on Sanctified as well. I mean, just at the start, it really looked like he was just ice skating around the arena. Yep. But right now, it seems like the movement has kind of came to a bit of a standstill between the two. Both of them, not opting for a freeze here, but Sanctified does take a massive claw, followed by a somewhat decent claw, still through prayer.
He's got the
Sanctified just eating up
as well.
Yeah, Sanctified is eating up right now, making sure that he's full HP before he steps out again. Sanctified still having both of his claw specs, though. He might be able to do something with that. Goes for the first one, only hits a 19 through the prayer and through the tank, so that is to be expected. But still, Full Send definitely being in the lead right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, that 30 whip, the 19 whip on the robes as well. He's doing absolute bits right now, and Sanctified's second spec also hitting a 0. He's down so much HP. He doesn't need that claw spec to actually hit and pull him back into this fight. He has got the freeze advantage in a second. 23 operable on the robes, very nicely done for him. Going for a second one too. Unfortunately, the second doesn't really do much. Again, like I said before, those 2 specs from Full Send really gave him a huge advantage, but Sanctified was able to close it up by catching the freeze.
Oh, Sanctified getting some nice DPS though. Nice. Still hitting his opponent on robes there, catching a decent barrage as well. Seems like he's going for the freeze right now. He's trying his best to make sure that he's keeping Full Send at a distance. Full Send not having eaten up to full yet, still sitting fairly low HP. I do believe we saw Sanctified take a risk earlier and ended up getting bolt chanced. But then again, You never really know. But Sanctified does hit a 45 bolt, really evening out the lead that Full Send got from those two claw specs right now.
Yeah, when he has the DD advantage, I think Sanctified's doing a great job of, like you said before, moving around the arena and keeping his opponent on the back burner, having to be so defensive and just bulk back, not really do too much else. Full Send stepping out, getting a whip on the prey melee, well protected from Sanctified. He will catch the freeze, getting hit a 38 bolt as well.
38 there, followed by the 18 barrage, going for another barrage for 28 right there. Sanctified really getting snowballed upon right now. Followed by a 33. Sanctified does catch a freeze for a 31 though, dealing a slight bit of damage back. Followed by a 42. Really evening out the DPS that Full Send's dealing.
Yeah, he desperately needs to do that to actually stay in this one, because it looks like Full Send has a little bit of advantage that he had there, and the HP he was up was just increasing tenfold.
Full Send taking a bolt on full robes off prayer there, not even a tank shield on. A Sanctified still hits a 0. Very
right now Sanctified going very mage heavy, actually catching a 30 barrage, paying off for him a little bit, but getting bolted back.
Getting a 34 barrage followed by though.
He's just keeping the pressure up. His RNG is kind of on point right now, but it does seem to be very back and forth.
I was going to say, are they out of food? Because I saw Full Send flicker redemption there, but I do believe that was just a misclick.
Yeah, they're really close to each other on the prayers, and it must be quite nerve-wracking being so close to a chance of the $1,500 prize pool that's available today for both players. Looks like Full Send being on Frozen, stepping away quite a bit right now, trying to catch a few barrages and 44 bot, not able to freeze him back again. Doing his best, though, to try and stop the momentum that his opponent has. Both players being frozen away from each other. I think just a bit too far to be able to bolt each other unless they start to use long range.
I do believe they can range each other with long range. But Sanctified going in for a beautiful claw right there. Very nice fakie from Sanctified. Does bolt chance Full Send straight after as well. Full Send getting a 22 opal bolt though. He's not eating right now, sending about 40 HP. Does get bolted on the robes there for a free off prayer. Not the highest of hits, but still adding up the damage for Sanctified.
Yeah, Sanctified right now has kind of got his opponent a little bit panicky, and Full Send made quite a few mistakes there. Goes to the claw spec though in retaliation, only hits a 0. He needed that to hit so desperately. I'd have to argue right now that I think Sanctified might be actually up a bit more. And yeah, as we suspected, Full Send saying he's double clicking his mouse a little bit. He made a few mistakes and he really paid for it quite heavily. It looks like he's got the DD advantage though. He's not giving up right now. This match is a very intense one, very close. 40 whip from Sanctified, beautifully done. A bolt as well, trying to get some distance we can't get.
Full Send still having... Yeah, Full Send still having a lot more HP than what I expected. It seems like he is finally out of food now.
Think he is.
I don't see him eating anymore. So I do believe he is out of food, sitting about 40 HP. Not entirely sure on Sanctified's food situation, but still, Sanctified going strong, getting another 22 bolt right there for a 25 opal bolt. Just needing to hit an extra hit right there with that 19 double proc. And it looks like Full Send has gone down, and Sanctified has won one round between the two. Sanctified only needing to win one more to advance, while Full Send it needs to do a reverse sweep on Sanctified right now to win the fight.
I think towards the end right there, I think Full Send might have actually put his crossbow on long range because he wasn't able to hit back and kept being a tick behind. He might have forgotten to turn it back again. But yeah, 44 bot, Sanctified's RNG near the end, those double bolt procs as well to finish his opponent off. Really beautifully done. At one point there, I really did think that Full Send was going to win it, but I think midway through the fight or so, as the tracker probably shows, you know, Sanctified really did come back and got some insane RNG, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the tracker, Sanctified definitely getting some RNG, but both of them actually dealing well above the deserved damage.
Yeah.
Sanctified having 489 deserved damage to Full Send's 418, but still Sanctified having 8 more hits there than Full Send with 71 to 63, and Sanctified having an extra 8% on the prayers as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sanctified definitely did deserve from that fight. The extra 8 free hits that he got and the better prayers really did make the difference there. But I think near the end, Full Send just kind of lost his momentum a little bit and couldn't really get back into the fight. And Sanctified, you know, used that opportunity he had to really close that one off beautifully. Of course, like we said before, it is a best of 3. Sanctified up currently 1-0 against Frankie Full Send. And of course, if Frankie Full Send doesn't manage to take this one, he's still into the loser's bracket round 4. So he can still claw his way back up and potentially, you know, have a piece of the pie with the $1,500 that's up for grabs today. We'll be joining them once again for round 2 momentarily, allowing the players to quickly jump back in and, yeah, sort themselves out. I see that in the chat, Purple Hat 73, the guy that chucked the 10k points, is not happy with that transaction.
I was trying to fix my camera there, but apparently my desk is tilting, so...
Oh no!
Either way, going into the second fight between the two right now. Sanctified being up 1-0, only needing to win this fight in order to advance. Full Send needing to do a reverse sweep, like I said before. Sanctified staff bashing his opponent there before going in for the DD, hitting a 22 on the ropes. Full Send seems to be getting hit a decent amount on the ropes, but still Sanctified hitting a claw on the prayer, on the tank right there, only for 19 damage, and rightfully so. He shouldn't be hitting too much there.
Catching his opponent off prayer, though, Sanctified hits a 0 as well. It was on the ropes too, which is kind of unfortunate for him. Oh, nice claw spec coming in from Full Send. The second's unfrozen, hitting a 40. I'm not sure if his opponent got prayer up in time.
Followed by a 34
to ball
as well. Now, Full Send did claw
his.
his opponent off prey there, but still, that second claw being on prey, hitting all the zeros. Sanctified still having one claw spec, maybe being able to do something with that. Still, it looks like Sanctified's taking a lot of damage right now. He needs to desperately eat up. He does still have his triple elites at the beginning of the fight here, though, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, currently I think Full Send's doing a pretty good job of keeping up the pressure, and in general, like, starting this fight much stronger than he did the last one. And like I said before, he does desperately need to win this one to stay in the winner's bracket, only a few fights now away from the finals. Lovely claw
Sanctified getting that claw that he so desperately needed, followed by the 28 bolt. There's just something about whenever you hit those big claws, it doesn't seem to matter what your opponent is doing. There's always a decent hit that's followed by.
Yeah, saying that though, Full Send's doing fantastic now on actually, despite that claw damage that he took, catching the freeze, hitting a 30 bolt as well, and really, keeping up the pace and sticking with his opponent. A nice little bolt proc coming in from both players. 15 for a 17, not the best actually with the whip return. Looks like he's DDing though, and currently 44 bot. Sanctified is unfrozen, going for that next freeze now straight away. He's very top heavy on the DD
barrage there as well.
Yeah, a few misclicks coming in here and there. I mean, we're so close right now again to the finals. These guys have got so much pressure on the line, both for representing their clans as well as the prize money that's being given away today. Full Send managed to catch that really imperative freeze there, a step before 44 bot managed to get the DD, and now just a little bit of a transition of range, mage, hybriding, going back and forth until one player can maybe get the upper hand and create a little bit of momentum and get unfrozen any second now. Third claw spec will be coming up probably in the next minute or two, so we have to look out for that one as well.
Yeah, Full Send should be getting the special attack first, but still, right now, Full Send sitting really low HP. Might get barrage KO'd, gets barrage chance right there. Sanctified hitting it 35 into a 19, into a 19 again, followed up by a 10. Seems like Sanctified really does have the momentum right now. He's getting a couple free hits every now and then. Seems like he's bolted his opponent on ropes there, not for too much damage though. Really doing a better job on the prayers right now, but then again, Sanctified having the momentum, I'm not surprised that he is doing a little bit better.
Being frozen in place, Full Send again, catching that clutch freeze, really important for him. Managed to get the DD as well. Let's see if he can transition this into a bit of momentum to stay in the fight. As a guess right now, I think these guys are both pretty evenly matched in terms of HP and damage dealt. He's going back and forth. Oh, that's
Sanctified going for the first claw, but not hitting a lot there, and then getting bolted a 40 straight after. Full Send trying to go for that claw, but looks like he gave up on a last tick there.
Yeah, I guess he saw his opponent prayed melee and decided not to go for it, although saying that, on the run there, he could have switched back into the claws and gone for the claw spec to do a lot of damage. Only one step away from each other now. Potentially could go for the claw any second.
Yeah, Sanctified looks like he is on his final bit of food, and he does get KO'd by that 62 claw right there.
What a move.
Full Send actually taking it back with the 1-1. Sanctified getting taken out by that last claw spec.
Yeah, he was sat just a little bit too low there, wasn't able to out-eat it, and got caught off prayer as he flicked the wrong prayer up at the wrong time.
Sanctified probably having a little bit of food left, but still, I don't think it would have made that big of a difference. If I had to guess, Sanctified probably only had a brew dose or two.
Yeah, I think we'll see from the PvP tracker as well that Full Send most likely deserved to win that one. But, evening it out for him right now, that being a 1-1 victory in a best-of-3 round. This is the round before the semi-finals, so after this fight, they have like one more fight until they start to earn some prize money. Absolute scenes right now going on between these two. Like you said before, it was going to be an evenly matched fight, but it is extremely evenly matched. That KO there, that's the first KO of the tournament we've seen today as well, which is great to see. The 60+ claw spec, really nicely played by Frankie there, saving that claw spec for a good opportunity when his opponent was low hit points. And like you said before, though, Sanctified being a little bit too low hit points and supplies remaining. We're going to see from the PvP tracker now as well.
Yeah, looking at the tracker there, we have Sanctified with 54 hits to Full Send's 55. Full Send having 471 damage dealt, only deserving 378. Sanctified's actual damage actually being below his deserved. So Sanctified definitely getting a little bit RNG'd there towards the end, but still nonetheless it seems like Sanctified had a decent bit of food left.
Yeah, man. I think he could have definitely eaten out of that. He had 471 damage dealt, so probably, what's it usually like 500 to 600 damage or so?
I think
So
550 is the entire
Average,
inventory
yeah.
plus the
plus
HP.
your HP pool. Yeah, so he definitely could have stayed in that fight for a bit longer. I mean, at the same time, though, Full Send definitely deserved to win that fight. He got a few more hits off prayer, but his RNG was pretty huge. Regardless, very even matchup. This next fight is make or break really for these two contestants, you know, going through to the next round, like I said before, being the semi-final matchup. So a lot on the line for these two players. Currently 1-1 in this best of 3. After this fight, we'll be jumping into 10-13 versus Gosu again, so stay tuned for that. We're just waiting for our contestants right now to get geared up, you know, sort out their inventories and jump back into the mix. So bear with us for a moment.
Saying that though, as well, whoever does lose this fight still has a chance in the losers bracket. They are not completely out of the tournament yet. Sanctified and Full Send, not having lost the fight yet, still has a chance in the losers bracket if they do go down here.
Of course. Well, we're starting this one off by Bolt being exchanged from both players and then Sanctified running over the whip and able to catch the opponent. A 50 Bolt from Full Send being returned by a 24.
Sanctified still not getting that RNG that he so desperately needs. He did manage to get a little bit of damage back there, but Full Send being in the lead right now by about 60 damage. Seems like he's faking out Sanctified there for a 1 claw spec off the prayer.
Nice little DD as well mechanic there from Full Send, but unfortunately, there.
Sanctified go for a really nice anti there. 62 claw off prey, goes for the second one, only hitting zeros though. We've seen a lot of people try dump both of their claw specs. I'm not entirely sure if that's like a good strat to just go for both straight away, but still, doesn't seem to have worked out for Sanctified. It has worked out for other people though. Looking at the damage so far, it looks like they are outside of range for their crossbows right now, so they're just going to have to stick with the barrages. Potential for a long-range crossbow, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of just normal and just 0 hits being exchanged, splash after splash. These guys putting on the K-top at the right moment in time. Next freeze coming in, though, momentarily. Full Send sitting much higher than Sanctified, who has to take a second to actually eat there, and as a result, loses a little bit of momentum, but based on his movement right there, he managed to escape the claw special attack that Full Send tried to send in for him, and looks like Sanctified is desperately trying to catch this freeze, really committing to it, going for it over and over and over again. Finally catches it. It was worth sticking to it, and now decides to go for the DD mechanics, hitting a 17 for a 0, and really keep himself his opponent. Full Send desperately trying to get that claw spec out as well to try and even the playing field a little bit, but right now
sticking to the movement though, really snowballing this this RNG that he's gotten, but he has gotten frozen there, so it might turn any second now. Not entirely sure on what Full Send's claw situation is. I do believe he has 1 spec left, and he's began regenerating before Sanctified, actually. So we should be seeing his 3rd claw spec fairly soon as well. Full Send is taking the time here to eat up by the looks of things. Stepping out there, trading a bolt on prayer for a bolt off prayer right there. Sanctified still setting fairly low. Might be getting snowballed upon here.
Yeah, Full Send really come back to the fight right now. He seems quite a lot. 25 spec actually being returned on the prey melee. Sanctified doing a great job of getting the prayer up in time. That was the 3rd spec being utilized too. Right now, I'd say it's been very back and forth. I really don't know who's in the lead right now. Although the second portion of the fight, I think Full Send's probably done a little bit more damage, and it's probably clawing this one back in. Of course, it's a best of 3, currently 1-1, so this fight really does matter. It means a lot. Going into the DD again, Full Send is going absolutely crazy with his DD mechanics and stepping out and such. I think Sanctified does a better job when he's moving around, but still Full Send right now getting a couple free hits too, and out DPS
does get a very nice barrage with that Mystic Top and tank on though. Sanctified desperately trying to freeze them back, takes 2 hits on the robes. Sanctified still sitting so low HP. Kind of got me worried with how low he's sitting.
Yeah, I think these guys are actually in the finals as well. I forgot to mention that, and I really should have done. I wasn't clear of them being a place, but these guys are actually welcome to come back in 2 weeks' time for the World Championship. They have 8 spots, of course, from this tournament. These 4 and the 4 from the next losers bracket that we're going to watch momentarily. Looks like the ball spec coming in from Full Send again, only on prey range though, and on tanks. So Sanctified really staying in the mix.
Sanctified did get a really nice claw right before that, only for about 40 damage though. Still Full Send getting about 26 claw there through the prayer. Sanctified desperately needing some RNG right now. I'm not entirely sure what the food situation is, but it looks like Full Send might be up just a tiny bit on Sanctified.
Yeah, it stays up a little bit right now. His RNG in the second portion of that fight, that matchup, was pretty strong. Looks like he's moving away now, Sanctified, trying to go for maybe a little freeze. Nice 3-7 ball. He's trying to stay in the fight.
Finally get some RNG while Full Send is in his robes. But as I say that, he does hit his 0. It seems like he's caught a freeze with his K-top on there for a 21 barrage, going for the double barrage, a 19 followed by maybe another one. No, he has splashed there. Sanctified sticking to the barrages, trying to do as much damage as he can here, kind of switching up the style a little bit. Maybe catching Full Send off guard, but Full Send seems to be camping the Prey Mage now. Sanctified still sticking to it though. It's a 30 barrage thereafter. Trying to get the refreeze again. Hits it with an 11. Oh no, that was not the refreeze. Full Send sitting on about 30 HP right now. Not really eating. Might be out of food even.
I've seen Sanctified do nothing in this end of the fight apart from barrage, and somehow it's worked out for him, to be fair.
Yeah, it seems like he's just sticking to whatever worked for him right there at the end. It was doing damage, he just decided to stick with it. Full Send sitting about 1 HP right now. Sanctified just needing to hit anything and goes for a bolt. Probably a big mistake from Sanctified right there, because it has procced Full Send's redemption, but Full Send sitting 2 HP again. Now Sanctified sticking with the barrages. Has gone for a whip right there. Full Send could have got a redemption off, but didn't put it on in time.
He's flicking
flicking it too late there, but Sanctified sticking to the range. Not really.
I can't believe he's not finished him off yet. I mean, Full Send right now sitting on 2 hit points, somehow staying alive and got the redemption once again. Absolutely wild scenes at the moment. Still flicking it up.
Sanctified, whenever his opponent has been sitting that low at health, he really should have stuck to the barrages like he did before, rather than going for the range, making sure that he's not proccing his opponent's redemption. He procs it again. Full Send does actually go down to that 31 barrage though. It seems like he was completely out of prayer, and he does go down saying no prayer right there. Seems like he got all the redemptions off that he possibly could have and ran out of restores, so didn't have much of a chance. But still, that means Sanctified has advanced through the bracket, and he is now on to the final versus most likely what will be 10-13. But the person that wins between 10-13 and Sanctified most likely has to fight in the winner of the losers bracket as well. Sorry.
Yes, so looks like Sanctified does go through. Frankie is pushed down to the losers bracket, but these guys actually being in the round 4 contestants, the top 4 of the winners bracket, they have guaranteed themselves a place in the World Championship with $3,000 prize pool in 2 weeks' time. So despite losing that fight, Frankie can't be too mad about that. He's secured himself a final place in the World Championship, like I said, and he's still got a chance to really claw himself back out of the losers bracket and come back a little bit. If we look at the PV tracker momentarily, potentially, I do believe that Sanctified did come up on top there and did deserve to win that battle. As I said before, we'll be seeing him go up against 10-13 or Gosu Never Win, depending how that goes. And right now, in the winners bracket, we're almost into the finals. Sanctified guaranteeing a place in the semis, which is just, I think, very, very close right now to manage to get to, guarantee himself third place prize, which is actually, no, wait, has he guaranteed himself third place prize now? Has he won some money being in the semi-finals? I think he has.
I do believe he's guaranteed himself at least $150 now. So he's also guaranteed himself a spot for the grand finals that will be in 2 weeks, where all the different regions and the finalists and the top 8 of the different regions will be going against each other to compete for 3 grand prize pool. This region having 1.5 grand on the line. So Sanctified really needing to stay in it right now.
Yeah, man, that was a really exciting battle, and I do believe that Sanctified did deserve to win that one. I am wrong. I've just been sent the tracker, if you want to go through that momentarily, and it's quite surprising. It looks like Full Send actually did better on the tracker, but just got some pretty bad RNG still. Regardless, it was so neck and neck, actually.
Yeah, looking at the tracker for that fight, I mean, Sanctified only having 2 less hits to Full Send. Definitely really even between the two. Sanctified having 35% prayers, right, to Full Send's 41% prayers. So both of them having kind of low prayer percentage. Still, Sanctified having 548 deserved damage to Full Send's 580 right there. Both of them dealing just about the same damage. It seems like Full Send was really close to taking Sanctified out. Oh, wait, no, I am wrong. That is Sanctified having 642 damage now to Full Send's 521. So it looks like those redemptions probably got Full Send about 80 extra HP right there.
Yeah, that's mad. The redemptions really come. We always say at the end of the fight, it's like, if you can get a few redemptions off, you can really change it up by so much. Because like getting an extra 80 HP in a fight, which is usually like 550, that's a huge percentage. And even though there's a lot of RNG involved, it just helps so much there to guarantee you can stay in the fight for as long as you possibly can. At the end, Fulsen just didn't get the RNG he was looking for, and 44 was able to knock him out relatively easily despite the redemptions constantly. Apologies guys for the camera glitching out a little bit. It's currently prime time across the world, so we're having a few little issues with that, but hopefully it'll sort itself out before the next couple matches that come in right now. The next fight we're going to watch, I do believe, is going to be a really intense one. Once again, we are watching the Beast, the legend himself, 10-13 to God, Zaza Zips in game, and he's going up against Gosu and Never Win. We saw Gosu knock out King Sam before, so he's a huge contender as well. And once again, 10-13 hasn't lost a single battle in this tournament so far.
Yeah, I mean, 10-13 definitely being the titan in this tournament so far. I'm not entirely surprised. We've seen 10-13 definitely outplay almost every single opponent that he's been facing. I don't think he's actually been... I don't think he's lost on the tracker a single time yet, even in deserved damage, prayer, or anything like that. So I'm not so surprised. Gosu still should be an opponent that's worth 10-13 worrying about. Gosu having performed really well against his opponents in the past, but still 10-13 should be the better opponent here for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The amount of hits he gets off prayer is just nutty compared to like everyone else. It's really surprising how strong he is. A nice claw spec there from Never Win Gosu on the run, but 10-13 did predict it and got the prayer melee up in time and then catches the DD2 to keep up the pressure. It's a 17 bulk proc on the wrong prayer, but still a little bit of damage being dealt just to keep his advantage going and to keep this pressure up for his opponent. Both players right now being in round 4. These guys are the top 4 of the tournament today of the NA West PvP circuit. So in 2 weeks' time, the World Championship, $3,000 on the line, these guys will be invited back again. They will be some of the best hybrids, of course, in the world right now, based on all these tournaments that have been going on. So they still got a chance to come back, even if they do lose. This is the winner's bracket. It's a double knockout tournament, so they've still got a chance to come back depending on who takes this fight. Right now, though, 10-13 looking real strong, keeping the pressure up and really controlling this fight quite hard. He's catching those DDs and keeping Never Win on the back burner the entire time.
Yeah, seems like 10-13's reading his opponent fairly well, but still he's not really sticking to the barrages in the same way he has in the previous fight. He's definitely opting more for the melee and range now, doing a beautiful anti there, but the claws unfortunately not hitting a lot. Seems like he could have gotten a second spec there off prey, but his opponent DDing him in just a nick of time. Gosu trying his hardest to stay in this fight, getting a decent bit of damage. Seeming like he's out damaging 10-13 right now, but 10-13 having the DD advantage right now, does do the double barrage, second one splashing there, does staff bash his opponent before going in for the DD, gets a bolt, free hit right there off the prayer, gets a second hit there on the robes, not off the prayer though, only hitting 4 into a 6 right there. And Gosu, having caught the freeze now, should be getting the DD momentum, but I don't think that matters for 10-13. Yet again, doing a beautiful anti with that D claw right there, really getting some nice switches and predicting his opponent as good as he can right now. 10-13 reading Gosu like a book by the looks of things.
Yeah, fantastically played right there, that claw spec. And also we have Sick Nerds viewers coming in here, the Egg Boys. Thank you very much for the raid, Sick Nerd. 2,000 viewers, man is absolutely smashing it right now. Welcome to the Method NA West PvP circuit. We've got $1,500 worth of money being given out today to the top 3 contestants, and in 2 weeks' time we have a world championship with $3,000 on the line. You guys are tuning at a perfect time because we're now watching the god himself, 10-13 Zaza Zips on the left, fighting up against Gosu Never Win. A nice claw
getting a nice claw though. Yeah, actually finally getting some claws off prayer. I think almost all claws that we've seen so far have been off the prayer, not really dealing too much damage, but still getting some significant damage for them to actually snowball upon. Seems like both of them are sitting full HP right now, though. Kind of just opting for the freeze. Cut out for a second there. Looking at 10-13, he's still sticking with the barrages, doing some decent damage, getting about 35 damage from the 2 barrages, followed up by a 14 yet again. 10-13 still sticking with the barrages. His opponent is not getting any hits back. Gosu finally catching a freeze there with the 16. 10-13 getting an 11 barrage. Gosu definitely out DPSing him right now, though. Not deserved, I must say. Both of them trading whip hits. Gosu having the wrong prayer on and 10-13 having the right prayer, and 10-13 still taking more damage there.
Catching that freeze there was so important for Never Win, really. But, you know, 10-13 is an absolute wizard when it comes to, you know, hitting back hit for hit and moving away there. Beautiful movement. Catching the freeze, but getting caught back straight away by Gosu. Now these guys one step away, able to use all three attack styles to completely outwit their opponents and try and predict what the opponent is using in this tribrid match-off of melee, range, and mage. But it looks like Zaza Zips, 10-13, going for mage consistently and just switching out. Going for a claw split, beautifully played.
Chancing his opponent there. Gosu. Oh no, Gosu is out of food, sitting on about 20 HP right now. Not really flicking the right prayers though. Seems to have getting bolted on the robes. Just about any hit for 10-13 right now will take Gosu out, and he does take him out with that 22 barrage right at the end. Another W for 10-13, and it seems like he only needs to win one more now to take Gosu out. Gosu most likely looking at the losers bracket right now, preparing for his fight.
Yeah, I know, right? 10-13 still undefeated in this tournament. I think a lot of people expected that, but he's won like, I don't know, 7 fights or so in a row right now. Of course, Never Win, like I said before, is still in the tournament. It's a double knockout bracket, so if he loses, he's down to the losers bracket. My apologies, everybody that's tuned to the stream, and if you're still around, we're having a couple of technical difficulties with my camera, but it should get sorted out in due time. Looking at the bracket right now as well, like I said before, 10-13 currently 1-up versus Gosu. Only 1 match away now from the semi-finals. Whoever wins this next fight guarantees themselves prize money. This is a $150 prize match. And of course, second place will guarantee themselves $350, with first place today getting $1,000. There is a lot of money on the line today.